Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu, pakhair agale, ni hao, chuna shumme, washmale, ohaya gonzaimas, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifahal, halisha machatore, alan wasalan marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, suavi up, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and watching World this morning alongside Shahzad Khan. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the 10th of July 2019. The day is Wednesday, and Islamabad happens to be in a great shape, and it's because of the fact that it was raining early in the morning and it was raining at night too as well. So I think that for all of those people who were actually looking for a break from the heat, I think today is the day that you actually choose to go out with your family, probably have some pakoras, have some shakkar wali chai or gur wali tea. That's what it is. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, it's more, it's always very important to be focused on what you actually want to achieve in life. And if you're not going to be focused, I don't think that the results are going to be very positive for you. I mean, if I think about all of this myself, and I think that every day getting up in the morning, there are days when you actually get, yaar, kya hai, why do I even have to get up and all of that. Thankfully, alhamdulillah, I've never ever gone through that emotion or that kind of mood, and it's because of the fact that, for all of those people out there in 46 different countries, you've given a lot of love, you've shared a lot of love with us too as well, and we'll continue to strive for excellence, which is why I'm here right in front of you. So please make sure to make best use of the day. But other than that, today, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually picked up on a very amazing topic. Not because, every now and then that I've been mentioning ever since Monday. So on Monday, I said that we've picked up on a good topic. On Tuesday, I said we've picked up on a good topic. But it was because of the fact that we really did. And we really want people who actually follow us to learn something new every single day. And this is what we try to do. This is what our intentions are. But before I move on to the topic, there's just one simple thing which I would love to say to people out there, which I've witnessed within the society, that I've seen a lot of people, when they talk, are very negative with their words, or they're very pessimistic, or they really do not have hope for anything good happening to them. Please, I think by the end of the day, it is supposed to be you who actually needs to come out of this picture and make a new one, sketch a new picture for yourself, which is brighter, greener, and more prosperous as well. Please make sure to do that, because only you are capable of doing that. But other than that, now coming back to the topic where we actually wanted to talk about good governance. Now, yeah, the smile is there, and it's because of the fact that I actually have to be very real in terms of the kind of facts I'm going to share with you people, in terms of the kind of services we have over here for people. Because when we talk about governance, ladies and gentlemen, and good governance, it actually means that there's an equilibrium in between the kind of services and the products which are available for the public, and not just equally available, but then at the same time, the middle class actually is happy and is secure of their life as well, and they're wealthy and they want to proceed. So are we really experiencing good governance over here in Pakistan? Are we not? This is something which we have picked up on. There are a few basic principles for good governance which I'm going to give you away. For example, participation, which means that there should be more avenues of participation from people from every walk of life, not just people who are actually the top 5% of the population. So pretty much everybody should have the right to do whatever they want to do. It's not just for the top notch. Okay, and then rule of law. Obviously, if there's not going to be rule of law, I don't think that there'll be governance anyways. Then transparency, responsiveness, consensus-oriented, equity, and inclusiveness as well. All of these things, we'll talk about that, whether we have these principles, whether we see all of these principles being practiced in our daily routines or not. This is something we have picked up on. And if you guys want to give your feedback, all you have to do is log on to our Facebook page, which is with the name of World This Morning. Just highlight any issue and we'll talk about it as well. And to talk about good governance, ladies and gentlemen, we have been joined by somebody who's a writer and a scholar himself. And I think that he's got a good grip on administrative skills as well. He's none other than Mr. Sabbahuddin. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, how are you?
Wa alaikum salam, Atif. Very good morning to you.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. And the best part is that, after a long time, I've seen a guest of mine who's actually not sleepy early in the morning, and it makes me feel great. So thank you very much for doing that. Now let's get started. So what is good governance? Or let alone be good, what is governance?
Let me take you to Florence,
Sure.
Italy. in 14th century, Italy was not a unified country. It was distributed into several city-states.
Okay.
And one of it was Nayyar. And the capital hall,
Yeah.
where the mayor used to sit and the people used to sit, that was the Palazzo Pubblico.
Okay. Plaza Publico.
Yeah. And the interesting thing I'm going to bring is that 14th century Italian painter Lorenzetti painted the walls of this hall.
Exactly.
So there were 3 walls of it, and we know these paintings with the name of the allegory of good and bad governance.
All right.
The people and the decision makers sitting in the room were actually looking at the paintings of the good governance, examples of good governance,
Okay.
you know, nice figures, healthy people, farms, prosperous societies, while on the other side, he also painted the examples of bad governance,
Okay.
where the justice was in shackles, where the people were not having equity, you know, when the tyrannical paintings, he drew that. So the idea actually came from there.
Okay.
From time immemorial, when humans started to live together in a society, they decided, no, we can govern ourselves.
Yeah.
So we should have a system of governing ourselves.
Okay.
But you know, that's not possible, because governing ourselves means everybody is going to have a frame for himself. So then slowly it evolved, and gradually we came into the democracy.
Yep.
And the democracy had certain values, and the promises to the people.
Yep.
That democracy and the government practicing democracy is going to promise you certain things.
Exactly.
For example, it will promise you that you are free.
Yep.
It will promise you you are free to participate, you are free to express yourself, then you have rights.
Yeah.
So this is, in fact, what the government makes promises to the people. Governance is nothing but the
So are you
policies.
saying that the government just make promises, or are you trying to say that the government fulfills promises?
That's a very, you know, idealistically, every government is supposed to be fulfilling the promises.
Yeah.
And it is what it's supposed to do.
Exactly.
But every government makes a policy on papers, and that policy
on papers, yes.
and that policy is supposed to be implemented on the grassroots level.
Okay.
Now, here is the litmus test for the governance. Whether the government is able to implement this policy on the grassroots level, it means, okay, the fine with that, the governance is good. If they cannot do that,
Okay.
it means it's a failure. But here I would like to say something.
Sure.
The government only is not responsible. There's a partnership, the partnership of civil society, citizens,
Public
and the
and private
government.
partnership.
Yes. Every citizen is responsible for good governance.
Okay.
Because certain responsibilities I am supposed to be fulfilling, the government is not responsible for that. For example, I am the one who is supposed to stop the kids from swimming into the river. Why we are telling police to stop our children to do that?
All right.
And if somebody dies, is it the responsibility of state to keep the, you know, our children protected? Why the people come out on the roads with a dead body and, you know, block the roads? Because people are not doing their part in the self-governance. We are blaming the government for that.
All right, we'll definitely talk about that. I think that over here at this point of time, we'll actually have to adopt to a newer role as well. For example, I'm going to throw questions to you, and you can actually let me know whether it's right or wrong. So for example, getting started, because I wanted to have a discussion about the macro situation of the good governance and then come down to the micro. So for example, in any public office, if you walk in right now, you know, it's probably 9:19, ladies and gentlemen, 20 past 9, and I don't think that anybody would be on their seats as well. Do you think that this is a part of good governance? That nobody's actually in office on time?
That is, you know, unfortunate. That is unfortunate.
So, yeah.
But as a framework, good governance is the framework where economies prosper, where the countries progress.
Exactly.
If you just look at our country, how resilient we are, we have been smashed 5 times. First, the founder of the Pakistan, Qaid-e-Azam, we lost him.
Yeah.
We couldn't implement what he wanted.
Yes.
Secondly, soon after that, you know, there was a huge problem of migrants coming from India, migrating to Pakistan. There was no UN body, there was no NGO at that time, and the government was doing all that, accommodating that. Still, We thrived, we survived.
Exactly.
Then there were two wars, 65, 71. The country fell apart in 71.
Yep.
We survived. We have been surviving. Then the war on terror, the losses, we survived.
Yep.
These are the causes that we have not been able to, to rocket our speed towards the prosperity. But,
Yeah.
but we should be optimistic. As you said, we should be hopeful. We should be optimistic.
Yes.
But you were right that we are not fulfilling the responsibilities. I doubt that at this very time, if somebody is missing from the office, that is his responsibility, not the responsibility of the government of Pakistan to make him sit there.
Exactly, that's great. But since we are talking about the framework, I think that all of those frameworks which we come up with actually should enable people to be on time. Now, coming back towards rule of law. Now, we know that, well, justice denied is justice delayed, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they say. So we see it over here in Pakistan every other day in courts. And I even know families where they do not even have access to the courts too as well because of the fact that they think that the other party is more powerful. Is it good governance?
Your examples are, quite probing me to think, and they're quite
We just being honest with our
mind-provoking.
jobs. Yes.
Yeah, you're right. But we have to be careful while being honest because
Yeah.
while
See,
talking,
okay, now you've said it yourself. So people who actually have to think before they actually want to be honest or say what the truth is, how do you think it's good governance where people do not have the right to say the right thing?
you see, after independence till 90s,
Yep.
Pakistan was, going at a wonderful pace. Our GDP was fine, our per capita income was fine, and we were doing fine. After 90s, the country slowly, gradually declined.
Yep.
Why? Political interferences.
Corruption,
Political interferences
whatnot,
in each of the department. People started from the civil services of Pakistan, which used to be, the cream of the cream selected. People have started to come laterally due to the political influences.
Yes.
Our institutions started to degenerate.
yes.
They got slowly and gradually, the termite of this corruption has eroded our bases. But having said that, justice is not only applicable to the framework of good governance, it is also applicable to our religious principles we follow.
All right.
We cannot just relegate justice for something. A country where there is no justice, where the people die and then they get, the decisions from the courts, I don't think so that we should even call it as a governance even, not even a bad, rather a worse type of governance. That will not come into the governance even, that is a rule. There's a difference between a rule and the governance. Rule, a tyrannical person, a despot, rules on the people.
Yeah.
Governance, it's two-way.
It's by the people, for the people. I think that's how it should be. But other than that, okay, so law's done. Now moving on, for example, where I said that the middle class actually needs to feel secure about their wealth and health as well. Now just yesterday, an anchor person from a private channel was actually shot dead. There are robberies, armed robberies every single day within the country. Is that good governance?
If I say that the same things happen in Europe also. in
Everywhere,
America also,
but
everywhere.
the
People get mugged.
number of times it's happening is, I think, that's something that we really need to talk about. And we're not actually comparing ourselves with any other developed country. It's because of the fact that we're talking about governance within Pakistan. Now, where, for example, if we would have been speaking about governance all over the globe, that might have been different. But let's make our country better first.
You're right. But the number of incidents of mugging, of shootings, anywhere in the world.
Even in London, it's increasing.
Yeah, it is like that. But it's very unfortunate that it happened yesterday, and I learned the family suffered. He had a 1-year-old child,
Yep.
and it's very. The family must have fallen apart. by now.
Amjad Sabri Saab,
Yeah.
I can count people on fingers too as well who've actually lost their lives just because the government failed to make sure that that the citizens were actually secure. See, I think that this is a big part of governance.
The government, not the government institutions and the people running those institutions fail.
Exactly.
For example, if the police officers start obliging the political leadership instead of doing their job, starting to gather money, collect money, go after the corruption, then of course this is going to happen. People are going to die in the streets.
Yep. And very rightly said, ladies and gentlemen, I know that that the topic we've picked up on is not very overwhelming, but I think that everybody needs to see the mirror on the wall too, as well as in to check whether we are in the right direction or not. Now, with all of these things covered, I think that the next thing which I would like to move on to is health, where we know that majority population of Pakistan is actually stunted, where we know that the basic facilities of health are not provided to the people from remote areas. They actually have to travel a long way. So we've got a small video to share on public health. When you guys will come back, we'll talk about this too as well. Let's do this. Good morning. I hope my questions are not that tough. Right, let's do it.
When you think about public health, you might think of hospitals and sick people. But public health works behind the scenes to keep you, your family, and your community safe and well as you go about your day-to-day life. The water from the taps in your home is safe, secure, and clean because it's regulated, so you're protected from waterborne diseases. The Health Star rating on the packaged foods you buy lets you know you've made healthy choices. You know that walking and cycling is good for you, and the shared pathways maintained by your local council make active travel easier and safer. Staying healthy through winter is important to you, and you know having an annual influenza vaccination protects you from common strains of flu, so you're less likely to get sick. When you go to the shopping centre, the air conditioning is safe because the cooling towers are regulated to stop the growth of Legionella bacteria. You understand that how food is handled is an important part of making sure it's safe to eat, and the food safety rating certificate on the door reassures you that the people who manage the cafe do too. You know eating nutritious food is an important part of keeping healthy, so you pick a wholemeal salad sandwich for lunch, along with a bottle of water and a piece of fruit. You know it's important for you and the kids to be physically active. Being active makes you feel good. It's about having more energy and feeling better. You aim to include fun physical activity into your family's busy day. At the local public pool, the water is clean and safe because it's regularly inspected and regulated. And when you spend time outside, you know it's important to protect yourself and your family from mosquitoes and the diseases they carry. Throughout your day, public health has worked behind the scenes in many ways to keep you and your family safe and well. To learn more about public health and what you can do to keep safe and well.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, what more to say? I mean, talking about public health, I think that the government of every country is actually very worried about the health of the citizens of that particular country. But over here in Pakistan, we might not even have clean drinking water. But over here in Pakistan, pools are far, far away. I mean, I think people would just dream of having public pools as well, which will be checked, and just the way you saw it in the video. But other than that, we have restaurants where people are actually serving bad food to other people as well. We do have authorities who go and keep a check on that too as well, but it's not in that good of a shape as well. So let's talk about people, people being healthy is a part of the framework of good governance, no?
Yeah, but I will differ. You said there are no pools. I was traveling on the road. It rained last night, and I saw pools everywhere.
Pools, yeah, pools everywhere.
So, and then
Thank
of
you
course
very much for saying
it's
that.
going to be mosquitoes soon, and then dengue is going to come.
And dengue is going to come, yes.
You are right. It is very unfortunate. The health is right. Access to health and the access to health facility is the right of each and every citizen.
Okay.
And when we talk about Pakistan, Pakistan, as per the constitution, is supposed to be a welfare state.
Exactly.
And a welfare state is supposed to look after the citizens. But when we go to the hospital, the public hospitals, I don't think so you will ever like to go to the civil hospitals, government-owned hospitals, because if you go there, you will be, standing all day without getting an appointment, without getting your lab tests, and then you will feel like spending money and going to the private.
Yeah, and even then, if you happen to know the doctor only, then you're going to actually get to see him first as well. But if you do not know the doctor, just stand in the queue and that's it. Good luck.
True, and that paints the other wall, the bad example of the bad governance.
And we see it every single day. So which is why now, okay, we have said it, it's out there, ladies and gentlemen. There might be a lot more other issues as well, which probably the government needs to intervene into. But now, I want to come down to the point where I, as an individual, how do you think that I can be a part of that framework which actually emphasizes on good governance? What do you think I need to do? I'm at work on time.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I really appreciate that. Now, what happens is that the government is steered by the pressure groups and by the civil society organizations.
Yes.
In Pakistan, we are still hot, still cold. we have organizations that suddenly come up with an issue, and then the Twitter campaign and the Facebook, and suddenly it goes down.
Yep.
There is not a regulatory body in the civil society which continues to push the government toward the task.
Okay.
And on the other side, the government looks toward these CSOs and NGOs with suspicion. They think that they're serving some foreign agenda because maybe they are funded by some foreign governments.
Yep.
So here the linkage is completely broken. The individual is linked to the government through these CSOs and NGOs.
Okay.
But unfortunately, when this link is broken, there is nobody. I'm happy that the Prime Minister started an initiative of making an app so
Yeah,
that
citizen
every
portal,
citizen is going to. But if I do not know the statistics, but my personal experience, it takes weeks, months, and then suddenly you get a message that it has been partially solved. Well, while actually it remains.
No, but
like
you
this.
know, I need to speak about that too as well, ladies and gentlemen. I've downloaded the app myself, Citizen Portal. I've made a few complaints myself as well, and they worked out. Within 10 working days, they were in contact with me and they sorted the problem out. It is a good initiative, but it's just 0.1% of good governance, I think.
Yeah, but a step in the right direction.
Yes.
Because you talked about the individual. Individual is supposed to be linked to the government.
Exactly.
Because as per the principle of the good governance, person has the right to be heard.
Yeah.
He's supposed to speak and he's supposed to be heard by the
Exactly.
by the government. But at the same time, when I saw the pools of water on the road, I thought that why the people were throwing garbage, throwing the wrappers, those wrappers get clogged, and then these pools happen.
Exactly.
So the responsibility lies on the individuals as well to make sure they're doing their part.
Which is why, very quickly, before we wrap up the segment, ladies and gentlemen, one simple question which I want to ask, and that is that for any country's economy, if it is dependent on to probably IMF or any other lending agency, do you think that there can be good governance if our economy is not self-sufficient?
You know, one of the factors that, rather it was a hypothesis, still to be tested, that people think that we get an economic boom when others give us money.
Yeah.
When the organizations or the international donors give us money, then we go for a boom. And then you can see that something better is going on.
Yeah.
I think this boom comes with some cost.
Exactly.
This is not going to help us for long. So these international organizations will not be helping us for long. Rather, there will be some hidden cost which we are supposed to be paying. It is better for us to stand on our own feet and then redesign ourselves, redesign the framework, and do our bid to the country.
And the sooner the better, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Mr. Sabbahuddin, for being with us.
Pleasure is
and
mine.
letting us know what good governance is all about, and probably letting us know that we're okay. So, for example, if you are to rank Pakistan 1 out of 10, where do you 10 being the best, 1 being the lowest, where do you think we lie in terms of good governance? I'm sorry.
If I say the lowest bottom of the chart, I will not be an optimist. So sticking to your first statement while starting the show, I should say it is somewhere around maybe 5.
5, all right. But that's great, ladies and gentlemen. But believe me that we're in the right direction with this new government and Premier Imran Khan in the chair. And we have firm faith and we believe in him too as well. And the way he's actually done so many things for people out there, I think that he's going to be a great leader for Pakistan, for the world, to see that, you know, that there are people who can do great deals and great wonders. All we need to do is be patient at times, give them the support they require. And I think that that's going to be our part in probably making sure that Pakistan actually adopts for good governance, and we see it practicing elsewhere as well. Thank you very much for being with us. It was wonderful to have you. But before you go, you know, I just wanted to check it with my producer if we can share the picture of the day as well, because I want Mr. Sabbahuddin to actually talk about the picture of the day. So it's a new segment which we have introduced. We share a picture, and when you see the picture, whatever thought comes to your head, you share it with our viewers too as well. Are you ready?
Yeah, is it some type of psychological test?
Well, it's not a psychological test. It's whatever comes to your head, you
Yeah,
can say
okay,
it,
sure.
all right? But just make sure that you remember that you're on television. Can we please have the picture on television screens? All right, so this is a picture. It's raining, 2 boys, you know, sharing a leaf so that they do not get wet. What do you have to say about the picture?
Wow, it's, you know, it is just like, it's a very wonderful and powerful picture with the 2 kids, irrespective of the weather, irrespective of the distance, difficulties, they're going to school.
Yes.
And going to school for education is, I think, very powerful message.
Exactly, that's great. And my take on this picture would be that no matter how harsh the weather is, obviously they have to go by foot to their schools as well. Look at their moods. They're smiling.
Yeah,
You
smiling,
know, they're
yeah.
not worried about
Yeah.
anything in life. They know that if you're going to study, we're going to be good people in near future. We'll be able to earn. We'll be good individuals. So for that sake, you know, it just does not bother them.
For showing
And
this picture, you made my day.
yeah, thank you very much for saying that as well. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head out towards a short break. But when you guys will come back, there's one more very serious thing which we'll be talking about today. I know that it's a serious show, but it's a serious topic, and we really want to get into the depth of it because of the fact that we want people so that they do not think like that. There are a lot of stigma, wrong perceptions about different diseases due to which the quality of life of a person suffering from those diseases does suffer. So we want to talk about that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you watching World this morning alongside Shahzad Khan. For everybody who just got tuned, ladies and gentlemen, earlier we were in conversation with Mr. Sabbahuddin, who happens to be a writer and a scholar. We were talking about good governance and the practices which actually make sure that we get to witness good governance. Well, are you witnessing good governance within the country? If yes or no, please write to us on our Facebook page, which is with the name of World This Morning, and we'll definitely get your word out. But other than that, not just talking about good governance, I want to move on to something very different now. And I think that it can be a part of good governance only if we have a deeper understanding of it. But unfortunately, we do not, because they use a very commonly used term is stigma, or probably, you know, we can say that there's a wrong perception about it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen a lot of people who actually suffer from different diseases which are said to be contagious, or which are said to be not really very well accepted by people because of the fact that they think that they are going to be contagious and they're going to fall ill, and then that there's no problem, but there are still problems as well. By 2020, they say that in Pakistan, depression will be a killer on number 3 top. you know. So please imagine that how worse the situation is going to be. And over here in Pakistan, I still see that people still haven't learned that mental illnesses do exist. People do not go to the psychologist. People are not willing to go to the psychiatrist because they think that people will call them crazy. People will call them abnormal. People will call them with different names, which is why they never get themselves treated. Their situations do worsen and they do not get better at all. And I think that everybody, each one of us has to play quite a role within all of this as well, because we're a part of this society where people still do not have an acceptance for mental illnesses. We'll talk about all of those diseases where people actually refrain to go to the doctor too as well. Ladies and gentlemen, to talk about all of this, we have invited a clinical psychologist over here in the show, and she's none other than Miss Faiza. Nayyar, hello, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
I'm fine, very good.
Thank you very much for coming over. It's wonderful to have you, but let's get our conversation started. Mental illnesses, we do not have an acceptance about any of the mental illness over in Pakistan, where we see that people are actually suffering from depression, people are suffering from anxiety, people are suicidal, people isolate themselves, they just want to be alone, even though that we know that humans are actually social animals. Why? Why is that happening?
Because it is happening due to the daily social routine of the people, and as you mentioned in your first conversation, that we do not consult with the right person.
Exactly.
Because we think that if we go to the psychologist or the psychiatrist, people will call us crazy.
Yeah.
So this is the basic thing which plays a very important role in the continuity of the disease.
All right.
So if we talk about the right people and the right direction, so I think we can control the disease in a very early stages.
So let's talk about mental health issues first of all. What are the different mental health issues people come across?
Basically, depression is spreading in the society due to the certain reasons.
What
And
are those reasons?
Actually, the reasons can vary from different aspects, like that can be religious, that can be personal, that can be official, and that can be environmental as well.
Okay.
So basically, there are the lots of reasons, and actually the life changes. And the basic thing is that uncertainty,
Okay.
which is prevailing in the society at a very larger scale. So basically, we do not think about the right mode of reason which create depression, and we think that we can deal it by ourselves. So basically, this is the actual reason.
Okay, and there's a reason behind that. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry that I'll have to be an scapegoat over here, but just to put the right fact out, I think that I'll actually have to ask this question. Now, for example, if I take you back in time, 1980s, 1970s, 1990s, golden era, our grandparents, great people, they've loved us in a way that we've actually turned out to be good humans as well. But I don't think that I've actually heard the word depression till the time I was 15 or 16, or I've seen people doing random stuff or people being suicidal. I have never ever come across such a thought. I'm sorry, but I was born in 1987, so the 90s, I think that probably was an era where I've never heard such a thing. So after 2004 or 5, I think people started talking about mental illnesses. Was it because of the fact that people were not aware of mental illnesses, or was it because of the fact that people were mentally stable?
Actually, the life in 90s was totally different. So now I think we have changed our priorities. We have actually not have an idea about the actual goals of the lives.
Yes.
And there is a lot of discrepancy between the actual goals and what we can to attain from the life.
All right.
So that is the actual reason that creating depression at a larger scale, because we think that we can gain a lot of things in a very short time.
Exactly. And that gain, ladies and gentlemen, is supposed to be in the eyes of other people who actually surround you. So which is, I think, is very obnoxious to think like. But for all of those people who come to you to address their mental illnesses, what kind of problems do they have? What do they talk about? I mean, usually when they come to you, what are they depressed about generally?
Firstly, I just want to mention that people do not consult us as they should come to consult to the right person or the psychologist or the psychiatrist.
Yes.
Because sometimes we see that families pressurize or forces the patient that he should consult. So the first step is that patient himself think about his disease,
Okay.
and he should take confidence that he can overcome the disease.
Okay.
First of all.
But is it possible for somebody who's actually suffering from depression to think like that? Because I think that a lot of energy is required. For example, if you are depressed already, how do you think that you can see the other side of the picture, which is quite bright or positive?
You are quite right that first of all, depression blocks the way of thinking.
Yeah, and you cannot help it.
Exactly. But again, without the professional help, if you just think that you can deal it on your own basis, so this is not possible. This can worsen the disease. But again, the stigma plays a very important role, that people think if they go to the psychiatrist, psychologist, they will have a tag like they are mad.
Okay.
So this is the actual reason, because otherwise we can see that in the healthier societies, people go to the psychologist for their marital issues, for their educational counseling, for their couple counseling, even for the brought of their kids.
Okay.
But in Pakistan, there is not such kind of concepts that we can go to the psychologist or psychiatrist for the grooming and for the better version of ourselves.
Exactly. And why do you think it's like that? Why do you think that people are unable to understand that they can actually get better, or whatever condition they're suffering from, it can actually go away?
It's all due to the awareness.
Okay.
It's all due to the education. Because we do not talk about such topics.
Yep.
We do not have the concepts
Okay.
that we can get the help.
Yep.
And there are the professionals prevailing in the society. And we do not know about the actual modes, that how we can decrease the disease and what roles the certain things plays in the enhancement of our disease.
All right. So we definitely do not want to go into that direction where we talk about, different roles being played by certain other things which are actually going to enhance the disease. We actually want to talk about killing the disease. How do you think the family can be supportive? Because I've seen people, if they do not have an understanding of what mental illness is or what mental sickness looks like, I don't think that they're actually going to be of any help to that particular person within that family. In fact, it might get worse because of the fact that every now and then father said something, the mother said something, "Oh, tu pagal ho gaye, tujhe to pata hi kuch nahi hai," just because of the fact that they're not aware of such a sickness or an illness. How do you think that the family needs to be supportive and be helpful for that person?
Actually, I just mentioned that here we should take the help from the education and the continuous awareness. Awareness in educational institutes, awareness in the lectures, awareness even in our organizations.
Okay.
So the family can think this side of the picture as well.
Yep.
We always think that a person is just playing a mimicry, a person is just behaving like this. Otherwise, if we know that the psychological diseases exist in the society, so we can have a better picture that the person can suffer also from the depression, anxiety and bipolar as well, which we do not talk about openly in the friends and the families.
And even the family members, for example, if there's a member within your own family, immediate family, you're never going to share it with your khala or with your popo or with your dada or with your chacha, because you do not want them to know that, either your daughter or your son is actually suffering from such a disease or an ailment as well. What do you think needs to be done about that? Because I think that it is the entire family needs to come together.
Exactly.
The religious scholars need to be on board. The psychiatrist needs to be on board. Quite a lot of people needs to be on board to actually settle this thing down. It's not that easy.
First of all, we have to reduce the stigma. We have to reduce the stigma and we have to take it as a normal disease.
Yes.
Like we can suffer from the headache, we can suffer from the other kind of the body illness. But the dilemma of the society is that if a person is suffering from the cancer, we can take him as a normal client, as a normal person. But if someone is suffering as a depressive patient, so we can think the whole family like they have the stigma, and they can think like they just think that this is a concept of the wrong disease. Wrong misconceptions are prevailing in the society. So we think that कि ये हमारा कोई गुनाह हो गया और ये हमारे किसी गलत काम का नतीजा है.
Exactly.
So basically these concepts need to be changed.
And even other than that, I've even seen people where people are actually saying that, this is something very magical probably, or spiritual, or something else, or, or probably a spirit has come down and taken over the body too as well. These are the kind of terms which we do get to listen to as well. But now, what I want you to do is, I want you to actually talk to all of those people who are out there, make them understand that, all of these mental illnesses exist for real, and we really need to help those people. First, you do that, and then the second thing which I want to know is that for all of those examples I've seen in my life where people suffering from depression, they're good with their life, but it's just that they want to be isolated, they want to be by themselves. And then there are times when they get suicidal. How do we avoid all of that? Because we do love all of those people who are actually mentally ill now.
Actually, we should raise awareness. Family plays a very vital role in overcoming in the patient's life to overcome his disease. we need to build up the confidence. We need to patients collect them as a whole on that platform, which we can tell them that they are not the useless. They are the vital part of the society, and they can lead their life in a normal way.
Exactly.
Even after suffering from the disease, they can also change their life by different means, by different objectives. They can lead a normal life. But again, people do not have the actual understanding about the psychological diseases.
So go ahead, give them an actual understanding, talk to them, look into the camera, just tell them.
The message is that please consult to the professionals. Please talk about your disease and do not hide your symptoms, because at the first stage we are not admitting our disease and we think that we are normal. We do not take our symptoms in a serious way, and we think that just due to the routine we are suffering from this disease. But by a certain time of period, we can suffer from the actual cause of depression, anxiety, and when that becomes an integral part of our life, so it becomes very difficult to overcome that actual disease. So if at the earliest stage we can take this disease and we can go to the consultant, so I think disease can be.
And what are the early symptoms for all of these diseases? Can we please share a few?
It starts from actually the pessimistic point of view.
Okay.
We can take the darker side of everything. We can think that we are the useless people.
Alright.
We think that we cannot do a certain things and we do not have the capacity.
All right.
So these are the earliest symptoms, and we think that we have no right to live in the society.
Okay.
We think that we cannot make friends, and we think that people think us as a useless part.
All right. No, but unfortunately, I'm sorry that I have to ask this question, and it might disturb a few people out there as well. But not everything is made for everybody, right? So, you know, there might be some things which I can do in life. There might be a few things which I cannot. And for all of those things which I cannot, it's not really necessary for me to think that way. Or probably what I should be thinking is that, okay, you know, what am I good at? Okay, I'm good at this, I'm bad at this. Okay, I'll pursue with what I'm good at. But I think that there is a block in their head. They cannot go through it. They cannot help but overthink. So do you have a solution for people who are actually suffering from depression and have not opened up so far? What would you say to them? Go ahead. For people who haven't opened up about their illness.
First of all, I just want to say that we should know about our actual potential, because we do not know about our actual capacity that we can perform the certain task. We think that, like you mentioned in your conversation, that we can do for any kind of things and we have the capacity for all, number one. Second thing is that we just want the shortcuts, and we just do not have wait for the certain things reaching in a certain time period.
Exactly.
We think that we can go for the shortcuts and we can gain all the things for a very short period. So we should know about our actual potential, actual capacity, and we should have confidence of ourselves that by learning different skills and by gaining some confidence over our personality, we can gain all the things.
Amazing that is. Thank you very much for being with us. It was lovely to have you over here on the show today, ladies and gentlemen. Before I wrap up, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a very simple rule which I apply in my life on daily basis as well, and that is that for yourself to be great, I think in the first place it is very important for you to decide what you want to do in life. And because what used to happen with me was that when I wanted to do something, you know, I would go to different people, ask them, okay, should I be doing this, should I be doing this, should I be doing this? So the 70% of the people would always be like, no. And the reason was because they haven't tried it themselves. So you cannot go asking for advice from people who have actually not crossed that bridge. So first of all, you have to be clear in your mind, take your own decisions, and just kind of, you know, have a conversation with your friends and talk it out that, okay, I might be doing this, do you think it's a better idea or not? And it's your choice by the end whether you want to go with the majority or with your own gut feeling. But be always very clear in your head. That's how life's going to be now. Please make sure that you're not taking inspiration from all of those people showing their money on Instagram. It's not theirs, it's borrowed. 50 Cent just said it a few days ago in an interview that all of those Instagram posts with Rolls Royce and whatnot, for all of those materials shown in the picture, was not even his. So make sure that you're actually following the right people and that you take inspiration from the right people as well. Please make sure to write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of World This Morning. On Twitter, it's World This Morning without a G. On Daily Motion and YouTube, it's World This Morning. The Fabulous Repeat is going to be at 11 p.m. tonight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. Be good. Good morning.